Well, well, well. Looks like we're back with another list that gushes over the attractiveness of female superheroes. But hey, we're not objectifying anyone here on this list as per all of our hottest heroes lists. Instead, we're diving into why these superheroes are attractive from the inside out, and why they are so compelling to us. And with this group on this list, there's a whole lot of reasons. So with that being said, let's jump into our part 4 of our list of the top 10 hottest female superheroes. In at number 10, Gwenpool. First appearing in Howard the Duck issue number 1 from volume 6, where after a series of events she almost assassinates Howard, Gwen hits us with a strong dose of meta. And I mean, the whole assassinating Howard came with the reasoning that he was a fictional character that would likely come back from death anyway. Makes sense. Despite having no relation to Deadpool, minus a costume mix-up and the whole meta-awareness thing, Gwen manages to live up to her unintentional namesake and capture the spirit and humor of Deadpool that fans of Deadpool adore, but adds a much more sentimental touch to the character, a sensitivity that has us hungry to learn more about her backstory, and how she ended up in the comic universe to begin with. Plus, she's super cute. And at number 9, Donna Troy. One of the original members of the Teen Titans, Donna Troy first came to be known as Wonder Girl, the teenage version of Wonder Woman, although eventually became her own entity separate of Diana. In the early days of that transition, she was Wonder Girl, Wonder Woman's younger sister, who would then join forces with Robin, Kid Flash, and Aqualad to form the Junior Justice League, aka the Teen Titans. Eventually her backstory was retconned, and she was no longer an Amazon, but rather an orphan who had been saved by Wonder Woman and brought to Paradise Island to be raised. There, she was given her powers by Wonder Woman villain Baroness Paula von Gunthers, specifically the Baroness's Purple Ray. She's grown up a lot since then, and was retconned a whole lot too. Now with her current DC Rebirth origins being that she was in fact made out of clay to destroy Wonder Woman, but that the Amazons gave her false memories of that initial origin story back from the 60s where she was an orphan raised on Paradise Island. And at number 8, Miss Martian. Miss Martian, aka Magama Ors, first appeared in the pages of DC Comics in 2006 in Teen Titans number 37. In the comics, she's a white Martian who pretended to be a green Martian. In the animated show Young Justice, she's the niece of Martian Manhunter. Regardless of which origin story you prefer, Miss Martian is an incredibly powerful superhero, and has quite the heart. Her story in the comics is full of turmoil. Her heritage is something that constantly plagues her, and all she really wants to do is belong. Her Young Justice self is way more appreciated as a character though, as the younger version of the character not only struggles with her heritage, but also with controlling her powers, and briefly gives up using telepathy altogether. Despite her ups and downs, Megan has always been known for her kindness and her passion. Up next at 7, Liberty Bell. Jumping back to the golden age for this one, let's take a look at Libby Lawrence, aka Liberty Bell. She's a hero that operated during World War II, but not initially with superpowers. That would come later, after she fled Poland from the Nazi threat, was smuggled into France, escaped the Battle of Dunkirk, and swam the English Channel after the Germans shot her boat out of the water. Yeah, Lawrence is pretty spectacular. In 1941, she returned to her home of Philadelphia, where she gained her powers: enhanced speed, strength, stamina, and sonic vibrational pulses. She would use those powers to help put an end to the Nazi threat, and those Axis forces who tried to infiltrate the US at the time. Eventually she would join the All-Star Squadron, and marry speedster Johnny Quick, the two having a daughter together who would inherit both of their powers, or rather inherit her mother's and learn her father's. And at 6, Cyber 6. Blast from the past here for you 90s kids. Cyber 6 first debuted in her first self-titled 1992 Argentine comic in Italian comics magazine Scorpio. Dressed in leather, she was a genetically engineered superhero who disguised herself as a male high school teacher during the day. At night, she fought off forces of monstrous biological weapons who were created by her maker, a Nazi genetic engineer named Dr. von Riker, who would implant cybernetic organs into the bodies of dead prisoners. One of his projects after the war was the Cyber series, artificial humanoids possessing superhuman strength and agility. But the Cybers revolted, and only Cyber 6 got away, with Riker surviving by putting his brain into the body of a panther. Needless to say, she's been through some intense shit. In 1999, her comic was adapted into a 13-episode animated show that some of you 90s kids might remember. In at number 5, Hawkgirl. Hawkgirl has gone through many a retcon over the years. Always paired with Hawkman Qatar Hall, or Carter Hall, depending on which origin you're considering, Hawkgirl has an intense connection to Ninth Metal, a mysterious and powerful property in the DC universe that negates gravity. Her wings are made of Ninth Metal, her weapons and gravity-defying belt are made of Ninth Metal, and her senses have been enhanced because of her constant proximity to Ninth Metal. Her and Hawkman are cursed to always find one another and always die, then reincarnate and begin the process process again, the first version of her being the Egyptian princess Shayara. These days, the character made her DC Rebirth debut as Kendra Saunders, and briefly went by the name Lady Blackhawk in the recent Dark Knight's Metal story arc. She was transformed by Barbados into an evil version of herself, but luckily Wonder Woman's lasso of truth restored her memories. And at number 4, Kitty Pryde. When Kitty Pryde, the phasing mutant, was first introduced in the Uncanny X-Men back in 1980, she was seen as the kid sister to many of the group. During the Kitty Pryde and Wolverine miniseries, the character grew up quite a bit, and then takes on the alias of Shadowcat. During the all-new X-Men, she gets her flirt on with Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, after the X-Men team up with the Guardians of the Galaxy to rescue Jean Grey. Then they got engaged, but eventually broke it off and she returned to Earth, where she took over leading the X-Men when Storm stepped down after the 2016 Inhumans vs. X-Men story arc. Pretty impressive. And at number 3, X-23. X-23, also known as Laura Kinney, is sometimes referred to as Wolverine's daughter. This is because she's his cloned daughter. In the Innocent Lost story arc, a top-secret program attempts to recreate Weapon X. Except there's a problem. The only genetic sample of Weapon X has been damaged. It has a busted Y chromosome. So instead, one of the geneticists suggests creating a female genetic twin, which also doesn't work until Try-23, which was then combined with an embryo. Laura is then born, with the same kinds of abilities as Logan's, and goes through one hell of a roller coaster of tragedies that eventually leads her to him and the X-Men. While the character was first depicted as a kid in her debut in the animated series X-Men Evolution, the character has been given a much more persona in various comics. So yeah, female Wolverine who's got a couple of murders under her belt and has that broodiness down packed. What's not to love? In our number 2 spot, Silk Spectre. The first. We talked about Silk Spectre the second on one of our previous hottest lists, so it's only right if we talk about the woman she inherited her looks and abilities from, Silk Spectre the first, Sally Jupiter. One of the founding members of the Minutemen, she received quite the attention from the male population at the time, seen as a sex symbol who criminals and villains didn't mind getting caught by. While she was more of a celebrity than a vigilante, Sally was still a force to be reckoned with. After ex-teammate the Silhouette was murdered by the Liquidator, Sally hunted the Liquidator down and murdered him at his hideout. She felt she owed Silhouette after unfairly voting her out of the Minutemen group when the news of her sexuality came out in the press. See, she's got a heart in there, even though she's cold often. And finally, in our number 1 spot, Starfire. Starfire is notoriously one of the sexiest superheroes out there, to the point where the character has actually been criticized on how excessively sexual her depictions have been. Regardless of what opinion you hold on that front, it's undeniable that the alien from Tamarin has some major sex appeal, which only makes her more awesome, considering the feats that she's actually capable of, and her background story. The girl had gone through hell and back before coming to Earth. Her sister had imprisoned her, and made her a slave, who was tortured and abused big time. Her planet was then invaded, she was then abducted again and experimented on. After she escaped to Earth and became part of the Teen Titans, she couldn't shake that past, or rather her sister's nefarious intentions, and the Marv Woman George Perez run on the Teen Titans dived into those stories, which showed off how much butt she was capable of kicking. All in all, Starfire deserves a whole hell of a lot of respect, more than she sometimes gets, and she's definitely a worthy hero, despite her ups and downs at the hands of DC editors. Definitely worthy of being a fan favorite. Alright, there we have it friends. Which of these heroes is your favorite, and why? Let us know in those comments below. If you dug this video, please spread the love by hitting that like button, share it with a friend, and hey, why don't you subscribe and hang out with us some more. We've also got some great videos just waiting for you to check out in the playlist that's currently flashing on your screen. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Catch you all in the next one.